Okay guys, this is Cruise Roy with the 2002 Explorer V6 4.0 liter. I did all the bottom components, torqued down the chain guides for the balancer, just torqued down this and that for the guide. I have one of the tools on but not tightened down yet. I'm going to try to get the chain and sprocket here for the jack shaft on right now. I'd already laid the chain inside the oil pan. Kind of hard to slide it on with the sprocket on, so you put the lower sprocket first, and tip the big gear up, the sprocket gear here. Real windy today, sorry about the sound. Kind of rattle it in there. Alright, it's just amazing how loose this chain is. If you ever lose the front chain, boy, what a mess that'll make. I didn't happen to lose mine, but okay. You gotta pick up a new bolt from Ford. This is another one of those torque to yields, just like the top of the cams. Also the one for the harmonic. So they have special bolts that you can't reuse again. You really don't have to worry about alignment from what I understand right now. I could tighten up this jack shaft right onto the lower part of the cassette chain and it wouldn't make a difference on the timing. It's all upstairs here. There's no timing points to line up except for your keyway is at 12 o'clock, but check your manual, but mine is. I'll put the cover on later and show you that it points to top dead center. We'll check the cylinders. But it's been sitting this way since I had it apart, so but I will recheck it before I tighten down the cams. Alright, so I just snugged that up, and it's just amazing how loose these chains are. Alright, so the first one you gotta do is the right hand side for the guide. Otherwise it's hard, it's got a lip on it, so if you do the other side first, it's a pain to get this one on. Yeah, I don't know how long I'll work on her today. It's very windy. It's nice out, but it feels cold up the back. I've gotten old and wimpy lately. Alright. And also, just remember, don't drop the nuts in the oil pan, as you'll be hunting for them. Now, this is the one with the grenade pin in it also. And once you bolt it, you pull it out, it puts all the tension on the chain. Yeah, there's timing marks all over this thing. They're just marks though. And I don't think they really mean anything, just stampings on the metal. But yeah, just watch how you don't drop your nuts or bolts down into the pan here. The trick's going to be here is there's a special tool that goes on this harmonic here, where the crank where the harmonic goes, helps you align this cover and hold the crank while you tighten this nut. I came up with something else. I hope it works, but that's what I'm working on now. Okay, all the teeth seem to be okay. I want to torque these down before I continue. Now it says that these are 14 foot-pounds. Which I usually do them twice just to double check. These ones are 80-inch pounds, so I'm gonna go calculate that out. But like I said, I don't want to tell you all the pounds. Please check in your manual. There is very few versions of this motor, and kind of confused me looking them up because everything's different. But let me check the specs again on this one, and I'll be right back. Okay guys, I torqued down all the guides. I didn't torque this down yet. I got to get top dead center back, so I'm going to put the cover on, find my top dead center and check it. And I made a tool to see if it works on this, so I can crank this tight. Top dead center, this is cranked tight. Now I should only have to deal with tightening the cam, and on the back side tighten the rear jack shaft, and tighten the right hand side cam. So I'm hoping that works out. But right now I just wanted to show you this little grenade pin here. I'll take it out. And there you go. Spring tension's on, and as the chain stretches it'll move with it, I guess. So that's all that grenade pin was for. Alright, so I think now I'm going to put my cover on, and I want to double check the timing. I want to slide the harmonic on, and I don't have the tool to line up the cover, so I might end up putting the cover loosely, get the harmonic on, and then tighten everything down. And with everything tight in here, I should only have to deal with these upper bolts on this, but we'll see, because then I have the tool. There's another tool here that locks on to the harmonic, and it grabs this edge of the block here and supposedly keeps it top dead center. Alright, so I'm going to check a few things and then I'll be back. Okay guys, I want to talk about the main jack shaft bolt. Alright, this has to be torqued down in 2 stages. It's one of those torque to yield, so it's so many pounds, and then you crack it about 90 degrees and that's done. Now they make this sound ridiculous online, or I'm not understanding it, but if you look at this, this is loose. The cam sprocket can move anywhere it wants to. There's no need to worry about any of these gears. You do have top dead center, but if you happen to move this while you tighten it just a little bit, we can just bring it back. Alright, and the back jack shaft bolt is loose. The back cam bolt is loose. This one's loose. So this in here shouldn't matter. I should be able to tighten this up, put the cover back on, harmonic back on. Now I'm ready to time the top. That's the way I figure it. Now there's a special tool that holds the crank. I don't have it. It's kind of like $90 from Ford for this socket. It aligns up the cover and also sets the cover, this cover properly, and also got a keyway notch so it holds it. I don't have one. So what I did is, in the shop, took some quarter bar stock and some nuts and washers, and I also used some shrink tape here to keep the threads from scratching anything. But this here is an old style tool that they used for years, taking off water pumps, all that type of stuff. But I made it a little bigger so I'd have some leverage so I can do it myself. But the whole thing is holding it and holding that and watching the torque wrench all at the same time. So what I was thinking, I could probably place it in this position. Here's a bolt here. See if that's coming in the camera there. Back up a minute. That bolt there. Okay. So what it is, this bolt here is to hold the carrier, to put the motor in. It's just a bolt I had hanging around. Now the way it works out is I had a spot right here too. So I can kind of tighten it there. So not only am I holding it, it's holding itself. And like I said, if it moves a little bit, we can just kick it back a little bit. And like they say, you're not supposed to, you know, crank these motors anti-clockwise, but everything's loose. I don't see anything failing. What I want to do is find my screwdriver and get a little pressure right here to keep it straight. And a bigger one. Oh, where did my screwdriver go? Try one of these. Just to help keep it square with the motor. But anyways, now that jack shaft should be held when I go to torque it. And the other thing is, they tell you to buy one of these, which these ain't cheap either, but for some reason my socket's so long I can't use it to hold the dial. These are used to get your anywhere from 0 to 330 degree twist on a bolt. You're actually twisting that bolt in the end. So I gotta torque it first. Let's see if my contraption works. Live on television, first time, folks. Like I said, this is a two-stage thing. She's probably gonna move a little bit. Okay, it's supposed to go like that. See, she didn't move much. I can probably use this to tighten the back too. And then I'll do my top dead center, and then I can line up the cams. But what I have to do is, they wanted another 90 degrees. So the only thing I can think of, which is going to be tough, I can't see it, but this point is already facing up. So I literally got to twist that so it's facing that way. So I guess even with a gauge that's going to tell you that, all you need to do is, if this lines up, which it don't, if that was straight, I know to twist it another 90. Here's the next position. There. Try to twist it again here. Let me see how that is. Not in front of the, let me check that. Alright, you know what? That's almost 90 degrees. And I need to go this way. That's how much more on this baby. Not all the way because it's a little off, but let me see what happens. I don't know why they don't have a full spec on this. Wow! If you look at it in pounds, it's almost 100 pounds. But if you notice, my tool worked. There's my magic marker lines. They're good to go. That was a pretty strong torque on that. But now, these gears are locked tight. That one's locked because of the keyway. Now I also think by using this tool, I can do the back one. But I'm going to check and reread, check everything out before I do that. Because I think the jack shaft has nothing to do with the timing. You got to get this top dead center though before, and you lock these in with the tools, and you're good to go. All right, let me check. I'll be back. Okay, guys, I'm back. Now, if you did everything right in the beginning, you checked your top dead center. That was the first thing you did before you took everything apart. You can check by cylinder 1 on this side and cylinder 5 on that side. They both should be up. One's in compression stroke, one's in exhaust. But with using my tool, I got the jack shaft bolt real nice and tight, what it's supposed to be. And what I want to do now is make sure that I stay top dead center, even with this. while I'm in the back, I want to do the other jack shaft bolt in the back. Alright, so I spent all that money on a tool that holds the crank at the top dead center. Alright, so we can put, I'm not going to put the harmonic on all the way. Let me tip it down a little bit. What I'm going to do is just lock it onto that keyway. Because what I got is I got this tool and I'll have this one. It's just biting a little bit of the keyway, but this tool's going to try to do most of the work. And you don't have to rely just on this. But the tool I'm talking about is that 511, 547. It's an odd shaped looking crow's foot. This is meant to hit the block, and this bites into the harmonic. So just to check it, lock that one on, and you make sure that it's dug into the slots. These things will go into the slots of the harmonic. Loosen the bolt. Normally the harmonic's a little bit further on. This thing perfectly fits around. Just tighten this wing nut. I push it out as far as I can to grab the block. Just tighten that wing nut just a little bit more. Alright. So now what I have is the harmonic is locked, jack shaft's locked, top dead center. I'm going to go tighten up the back. That's the back jack shaft bolt. The way I am understanding this chain doesn't mean anything with the jack shaft and all of that. It's when you tighten these two cams, they have to be in alignment, and that's what they give you these special tools for. But they only give you enough for one cam at a time. They're loose right now, they're not tight. But like I said, this bolt's loose. This is the little socket tool. This bolt's loose, so the cam can move anywhere I want it to. But that means that the tool's holding it though. The tool's actually holding it. And also, let me move the camera here. You don't want to use your real new tensioners. Wipe that off. New tensioners that you're gonna install later. There's a tool for that. And you crank this down to, I think, 27 pounds. You can check. But it pushes against that to put it, the tension, the perfect tension on the guides as you tighten this bolt. Perfect tension, tool alignment tools, cam tightening. Same thing, I'm going to swap everything over to this cam on the right hand side, and I'll do the back. And that's the one that's tricky because it's lefty tighty, righty loosey. Yeah, whatever. But for now, I want to do the back one. Okay, there's the back jack shaft bolt. And like I said, let me show you. Lift the camera a little bit. I'm going to show you something. No matter what the front's doing, these are loose. See how they move? So this, we're not going to affect the cam at all if we tighten that bolt, put that cap back in there. That's that mushroom shaped bolt that I had to get from, another one I had to get from Ford. And I got to go check the specs on that, and I think it's a torque to yield. And I'll be right back.